Unit 7 is on financial maths. (7.1) we're going to look at simple interest and compound interest. Right, simple interest is a certain percentage of the original sum that you borrow or that you invest, and we call that the principal, the original sum. So simple interest, the interest is a percentage of that original sum, and with simple it remains the same. The amount of money remains the same. E.g., you borrow 100 Rand at 7% per annum. So end of year 1, let's say you borrowed it, so then you owe the 100 that you borrowed plus the 7, which is 7% of 100. End of year 2, you owe the 100 plus the 7 from the previous year plus another 7. And it carries on like that. Even if it was year 10, it would be your original 100 plus then 10 of these 7 Rand interest. So the interest stays 7 Rand every year. Hire purchase agreements work on a simple interest rate. So very often if you get a cell phone contract, it works like a simple interest rate. Compound interest is different because you get interest on your interest. So if again you borrow 100 Rand at 7% per annum, then end year so many, you owe how much? End of year 1, you owe your 100 Rand plus 7 Rand. But end of year 2, it is the 107 from the previous one plus 7% of the 107, not of the 100. So with compound, every time it's the same percentage, but it is of the previous amount. So you add your previous end period's percentage to your original amount, and then the next time period it's 7% of that. So it gets bigger and bigger. Let's look at the formulae. So for simple interest, for compound interest, A equals P times 1 plus I times N. Compound, A equals P times 1 plus I to the power of n, where with both of them, P is your principal amount, the amount that you originally borrowed or invested. So P is the original amount. A is the final amount. How much will it amount to in the end? N is the number of years. And I is your interest rate in percentage. So both of them count the same. Compound interest, it's to the power of n. And both of these formulas tells you how much you owe or you have by the end of so many periods. If you want to know, remember the small I here is the interest rate. If you want to know how much you actually paid in interest to borrow money, so not interest rate, interest as in money, then you just take your final amount minus the original amount. Got it? So interest is just how much you paid extra. Interest rate is the percentage that they charge for you to borrow the money or that the bank gives you when you invest the money.